by then.
But you'll see the theme while we roll.
Blush, how did you send your sickness to me?
Yes,
Although I
Leonard.
don't even think it was. I think I had a protein shake yesterday morning, and from when I drank that shake, I just got sicker and
It's
sicker.
just been
And
over. I don't know. It could be food poisoning, but I don't know. I've heard a lot of, like I said, I've heard a lot of people be sick with something similar to what I had a couple weeks ago. Like my one friend, Rob knows him, Lorenzo. I think my mom had it like a week ago. A couple of other of my friends also
you sick,
mentioned
you're
like the
stupid. Yeah, I know a
stomachs.
lot of people around here. But I don't know, man, because, I feel like now I just need to sleep. It's like a 24-hour thing. Yeah.
Mm.
But like, wasn't very comfortable, let me tell you.
No, it definitely isn't.
Tummy was so bloated. Jeez. He's like, reach up when you can.
Hey, it's me, B, and you're listening to The Funk Show. Here, we don't want bantapuru, and poop
Bantapuru.
nostrils and poopy heads need not apply.
Yeah, we're not interested in poop kids.
At this point, I think we're not interested in poop at all.
Come, Jack. Why aren't you jumping on stage? I mean, you see the link, don't you, Jack? You're a Jack's 414. I should have kind of clicked the
Well,
414.
Jax can also do the handoff, because I'm going to talk about
Yeah.
the boring stuff,
Jack, go put on a shirt, brush your teeth, and then, comb your nostrils. And then you can jump on stage.
Comb your nostrils.
Yeah. How do I do that? There's a link. I will send it to you personally because I know you personally on a personal level.
Yo.
I know Jacques personally on a personal level. Rob, why is it that every time I go to our site with Jason from, say, any site of ours, it breaks? Has he got hackers that go ahead?
Well, I mean, yes, like, depends what you want to show in Citadel, because the guys are doing like active dev on it, so things could break with the pack openings.
Marketplace, man, just the marketplace. Just he wants to show somebody or whatever how, like, a game with the dynamic NFTs.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to show the marketplace, man. And it worked for me, and then a minute later it didn't work. I just feel like Satan just continuously embarrasses me in front of anybody with money.
But also rather just get me on the call, man, when that's,
It's not a call. It's he just quickly messages me. He asks me. I just send him a link, because the link worked for me.
It was working, but Magic Eden is now not indexing some of our stuff. And
we're just publicly declaring that Magic Eden is Bantapuru.
Well, I think it's because we also haven't had the best of success with OpenSea either,
Yeah.
We need our own Magic Sea that we build from scratch.
Magic Sea.
We need
we've got a really sexy gym guy, Jax. So Jax, you'll probably want to mute Arena Social, and then you can unmute yourself, and then you can just hang out. So we're talking about vision today, or whatever that was.
Leadership and visioni.
Yeah, visionship and leadership.
And leadering through sight. We will use some foresight and some backside, 5-sight, and
what about some 3-sight?
No, that's weak.
3-sight.
Okay.
The mighty Jax 414 in the house.
On the ice.
Hello, Jack. Does your mic work? Does your camera work? I know you work. You work very hard.
Jax, can you hear us? Are
we don't hear him or see him or
audible?
nothing anymore.
Can you see us? Are we visible?
Can't hear anything. What? Ah, Jax, it's so stupid. We can't hear you. We can't see you. Are you in the room with us right now? Why is technology in 2025 still stupid? Why?
Well,
Anybody know the answer to that
Because I
question?
gotta handicap the AI some way, Uncle. They just take over immediately.
yeah. No, exactly. So
Nice.
my daughter's
Yakim's
giving me
General
goodies.
Kev.
What goodies are these?
Yeah, we managed to get General Kev from the outer galaxies.
Good evening, folks.
What's cooking good looking?
If you can hear a funny squirting noise in the background, it's not me, it's my coffee machine.
We don't hear funny squirting sound in the background. And
If
we would
we
never.
hopefully we don't hear any funny squirting sounds from Unk.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
Shame, dude.
Okay, so Jax, maybe what you do is you leave StreamYard altogether and then try and come in from scratch.
Close everything, bro. Close everything and reopen it all.
Close it all, reopen it. But okay, Rob, so you got your presentation ready, and then
Yep.
General Kev is also going to jump in about how awesome we are, and Jax, hopefully, he's going to be able to figure out how a microphone works. And then I'm going to sit here and try not to die.
Okay.
See, Leonard, you see how I still rock up at these things when I'm sick. I'm kidding. I'm not here. It's just I'm just on. This is pre-recorded. Okay,
Well,
Rob.
Hold up at 2 or you're up.
I just record myself laughing and then I just loop it.
I say something really sad, and just starts laughing like.
Yeah, my mother passed away. Me dear departed. Nah. I remember when my name was General Kev. It was more like Kev in general than like the rank, you know. It's like the general store. Kev, is a general store a store that where you can buy a general?
There's one thing for sure, there's nothing general about me.
That's true.
That is true.
Maybe a general store is where generals go shopping. Like you need that rank, and then you can go shopping at the general store. So a private store, is that only for privates?
Yeah. What's carpool?
Also, nobody knows what you're buying at the private store because it's private.
Nobody knows. As for carpool, very secretive.
Oh yes, the corporal store. B, have you been to a general store before? I'm not sure. You have. B, I knew it. I knew a person with rank.
All righty then. Let's
Ah.
show something.
Right. Off my camera, like so. There we go.
This is a screen that I'm going to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring. Tralali, tralala. There
Can
we go.
everyone see the things?
There we go.
All right. So I've been doing this leadership thing for quite some time. Connecting strategy to leadership, which we'll go through. But what we're going to be talking about tonight from the leadership side is one of the most critical journeys that we take is the path a founder takes to turn a powerful idea into a thriving, mission-driven organization.
Let's put your camera on, man, so we
Was
can
it
see
off?
you. Yes.
Sorry, apologies. There we go.
There we go. Very nice, very nice.
So,
Let's go.
so I'll go through that again. What we're going to be talking about here is most critical journey for any business, or it's any kind of startup, any idea, any business, whatever you're busy with, is the path that the founder takes to turn a powerful idea into a thriving, mission-driven organization. So we're going to look at this through the lens of both leadership and vision. And we're just going to be focusing on some practical strategies, high level, for building and scaling. And then one of my colleagues, depending, might be Funk, will take over and discuss the kind of the inner component of this journey relating to belief and faith. Okay. So we have a founder's dilemma, which every company starts here, right? So why I'm saying this is a founder's dilemma is you have a vision. It might be crystal clear in your mind. You see the future you want to create with this vision, but it's locked inside your head. No one can really see what's inside your head. So you've got to try and get this out of your head and into the heads of other people. So the dilemma here is that it's an idea, and it doesn't matter how brilliant this idea is. It's a static idea that's sitting in your head. So it's your idea, your startup, something you want to create, some business you want to run. So a mission, no matter how noble, is a powerless thing without people. Okay? So every single founder or someone with a business idea or a startup idea must answer this. And this is, how do I build a bridge from my vision to reality? And then how do I get others to not just cross the bridge, but to help me build that bridge? And that bridge is the strategic leadership part. Okay? So just to recap on that. So you've got this vision. This vision is in your head. You want to now get this vision into reality, and you want to get others on board. And you build this bridge, which is between your vision and reality, and these others. You don't just want to cross this bridge and get to the other side. You want them to help you build it, make it wider so more people can fit on the bridge, make it stronger so more people can walk over the bridge. Okay. Round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. So now, thank you. So a lot of people is like, okay, I'm a leader. I've got this title. My view is it's not a title. Being a leader, it's an action, right? You lead. So basically the high level concepts around this is you are the one that casts the vision. You communicate this vision, the why, and then you yourself embody the values. So that's where the act comes in. You lead by example. So like what we do with OSP, Citadel, Only Believe in Everything Else, we're a mission-driven organization. So leadership doesn't have anything to do with the title. So that's like your kind of title on the business card. Okay, great. I'm a leader. That's excellent. It's got nothing to do with that. It's intentional actions. So at the core of this whole concept, when you start looking at it strategically, strategic leadership is about managing complexity and driving alignment. So when you have lots of people, things get complicated. Your job as the leader is to manage those complexities and get everyone aligned to whatever the vision is. So the non-negotiables, the roles that are non-negotiable for the founder, is you must first as you can see there under the high level overview there, you must first cast the vision so compelling that it acts as a magnet. So it's a magnetic north for everyone who is involved. So hopefully by now everyone knows what our vision is, and then that is our magnetic north. And everyone who joins our ecosystem, who joins the community, is aligned to that vision, and everyone involved is aligned to that. And then secondly, you have to communicate the why relentlessly. You have to create a culture of open communication and collaboration. And I think Funk, we do that quite well. We consistently communicate why we're doing it. We're relentless in that communication. And we've created a culture, open dialogue. Anyone can communicate to us on anything, and we collaborate. And I would say one of the most important ones, which is the third pillar, is you have to embody the values. So your team will ignore what you say, but they will never forget what you do. I'll say that again. Your team will ignore what you say, but they will never forget what you do. So you have to be the living example of the culture that you want to build. So those three for me are non-negotiables. Then
Very
just
good.
yeah, no, thank you, I appreciate it.
I'm enjoying this.
Can I-
I'm really enjoying it.
Rob, can
Yeah.
I put my hand up there briefly? Like the little, the school kid.
I mean, ideally not, but go for it.
No, it's like because both yourself and Andrew have very distinct leadership skills.
Yeah.
And when all of this came together, it was the way that those skills bounce off each other. Like Andrew's got a never-ending energy, when it comes to doing, and then there's like the organizational and structure that keeps tabs and control over that. And it was incredible for me stepping in from very chaotic leadership roles and being surrounded by people that didn't have those skills, coming across the two of you whose skills just connect so well, that it creates an energy where people end up following by example without even kind of it's effortless. It's just, I'm a part of this. Like, hell yes. Like I've got that excitement. I've got that energy now because you've got these two that are pushing it forward all the time. I just wanted to pop that in there because I think it's very relevant to what you were saying.
No, that's awesome. And 100%. And the same thing with you and how you do things, Jay. It's like, everyone leadership is something like one does, like 100%. It's an action. Taking an action is better than not taking an action. Even the action you took is not the ideal one. That is still better than not doing it at all, And I think all of us here with the kind of directional team here is we all have a very good ability to act. We do, and then others will always see what you do. Like, I was saying there, you don't get judged on what you say, you get judged on what you do. You can say the nicest things and compose the nicest sonnets, but then if you go and kick someone in the shin, that's what they see, your action of kicking someone in the shin, Okay, cool. So just to give everyone basic idea of some ideas for different sizes of businesses, because often businesses fail to get out of that kind of one room founder plus one or founder plus none scenario, right? So for the purposes of this, I'm calling this the spark. This is like when you're kicking off your idea stage one. So the team is either just one person or an extremely small team that can fit into a single room. So at this point, the organization is a direct reflection of you, the founder, 100%. You are the culture. Your primary job is to be the chief evangelist for this organization. You are the one consistently selling the vision. Every single decision you make becomes the bedrock of your strategy. And you start setting up the company's DNA. So you're the focal point. And the team learns by watching how you handle things. So how do you handle pressure? How do you celebrate wins? How do you navigate when you have a setback? And this stage, you're not hiring people. What you're doing is what we're doing as well is we're attracting the first believers. So these are the people who are drawn to our passion. They're drawn to ourselves. And, they are betting on us. They're betting on you, the founder, as much as they are on the idea. And basically, that's all you need to do there, right? So you're the culture of whatever it is. It can be like in the same organization here. It can be something you're doing, a little online side hustle. You want to kick off some kind of business you're kicking off. But if you apply these high-level concepts, you, the chief evangelist, your vision, your mission, your values are the building blocks, and it shapes the strategy. Okay. So when you get out of that phase, I'm calling this the tribe, between 10 to 50. We say employees here, but it depends. You might have, we've most probably got, I don't know, more than 10 committed individuals in our ecosystem, not necessarily employees. They're part of the community, but in this case, they are employees. So now when you start getting established and you're becoming a tribe, so this is where most founders face their first kind of identity crisis, okay? Because you're now growing past that small team. And you can't be involved now in every single decision, even though you want to, right? Your role must fundamentally start now to shift. So you got to shift from being the best doer, which you were in that startup phase, and now you got to start focusing on becoming the best enabler. So the key with enabling is delegation and trust. So if you look at us as a team, we are very good at trusting each other to do whatever's been delegated to us. So if I say, or Jason says to me, can you help me with this? Or I say to Jason, can you help me with that? Then there's trust, and that's delegation. So it's out of my head. It's with Jason. He will run with it. Same Uncle, myself. Same with Leonard, however we connect on the space. Same with Joey on the Web3 side. So what we're doing here is we're empowering the people. So in your case as a founder, then you're going to be empowering these people within a culture which was built on that first startup phase. It's a culture of collaboration. And in order to do this very effectively, you must constantly align everyone's actions back to your vision, okay? And then ensure everyone knows how their job or what they're doing pushes the mission forward. So your communication is no longer informal like it might have been when you were all fitting in one room. It now must become a bit more systematic. Need to set clear, measurable goals that you want to attain. So, everyone in the team is pulling in the same direction. So we do that. We set our milestones. We know what our next milestone is. And then all of us pull towards wherever we're going. Okay. And then once you've migrated out of your bigger business, now you start scaling into a very sizable organization. Now, when you say 50 plus employees, like if you look at a large community like we're getting, you take all the ambassadors, all our investors, you take the people playing the game, the people supporting us, all our partners, you're going to easily get over 50 people in an ecosystem like that, right? So this final stage is now the scale-up stage. So you're now leading leaders, right? So your direct influence on your kind of day-to-day tasks is minimal. So you're now not throwing coal in the furnace yourself with your own spade. Your focus needs to be broader, it needs to be bigger, and then your job is to now make the vision into a system. So you got to systemize the vision. So you got to translate the high-level strategy into concrete actions and align whatever you have to get there. You need to align the resources available. You need to align the people that are in your ecosystem. You need to start aligning all your processes. And this is the only way to now kind of effectively execute at scale. Because as you grow, with growth comes various risks. One of those risks is, if you look at the earlier phases, you right in the beginning, you the culture, you drive the vision, you set the DNA. Now, when you're bigger, you run into risks. Okay, so the culture might start getting diluted. So you must now become the guardian of your culture, the guardian of the DNA of the organization, the guardian of the vision, the guardian of the mission. And you have to take decisions to then protect that. And most importantly, your role is now going to be about developing the people in the ecosystem. So you're moving more into coaching, because you now need people to maybe start heading up areas, heading up divisions. So these individuals that are coming in through your organization or your ecosystem, they can be your employees, your community members, is you now need to coach them. They're going to be the next generation of your strategic managers, and they will carry the torch. Okay. So as part of how I decided to hand over to the funk, so you look here, from leadership to belief. So basically what we've just walked through is very, very high level, but this is, I've taken you through like a bit of the practical strategic stages of leadership. Okay. So it provides, to break it down, it would be the what. The what is the vision. So you've got an idea, you've got an organization. So that's the what. And the how is the strategy. So now how do we get to the what? How do we get to that vision? But now what happens when strategy fails you? When you face a challenge that's not in a framework of strategy that you can solve. And every founder is going to hit a wall in some way or another. And it's these moments, that your organization becomes secondary. So it requires like a serious level of self-awareness, a serious, deep and honest understanding of yourself, your own motivations, your own passions, your own weaknesses. Because when that plan fails or when you hit a wall, you have to turn internal, and in that case, that internal foundation, that's going to be the force that carries you through uncertainty. So let's say logic goes out the window, you hit a wall, you run out of funding, run out of people, or whatever happens. Strategy is not going to be enough. Logic is not going to be enough. So that's, in my view, belief and faith comes in. Yeah. You drop the mic.
Very, very, very good. Rob, I think you're doing presentations every night from now on. I want. This is what I want.
You're taking Leonard's place.
No, Leonard's got to do nice PowerPointy things now. We're going up from Word documents. So I'm gonna. What I'll do is I'll just share one or two things, and then I'm gonna ask Jax, Kev, and Leonard. Let's just check if Jack's got his mic right quick. Jack, you there?
Yeah, I think I'm here. Can you hear me?
Well done. Yes, we can hear you. Great.
All right.
So, I think it was point 2 on that final slide, either point 2 or point 3, where it spoke about what carries you through when nothing is happening, when things aren't, when strategy is not enough, creating that inner foundation. That's really where belief comes in. Often you're not going to have the money that you need, let alone want. Often you're not going to have the team that you need. There's a team that you want, and then there's a team that you need, and the team that you need is that bare minimum. It's people who can do the heavy carry with you. So the question is how do you attract the level of people that we have in our community? Because it's, I don't know about everybody else here, but it's almost unprecedented, the team that we've put together here. It's certainly in Web3, where most things are kind of a pyramid scheme, and you've got a bunch of people at the top, and the community feels like they might one day be involved. Over here, we're actually seeing the reality of people actually having opportunity, and that all looks great on paper, but how do you inspire people to a point where they will throw heart and soul, and they'll come home from work already tired from work, but feel invigorated by helping build another vision? And the key here is ownership. So you've got to sit down and when you're writing down your vision, ask yourself the question: so who owns this? Who owns what I'm building? Because belief requires ownership. Faith requires ownership. You've got to feel like you own this. This is yours. This is your heart. This is your dream. This is everything that you desire, everything that you want. It's got to feel to every single person like this is what's going to change their life. And sorry, someone's mic is, I'm hearing sniffles and rubbles, and I don't know who it is. I don't know who that is. I think it might be Leonard or Jason. I'm not sure. Someone's mic.
It can't be me.
It was Jason. Thank you. Sorry, it was quite airplanes going over, tanks driving through Sarajevo. I don't know. So how do you fill people's hearts with what is in your heart? How do you get them to feel like this is where they belong, and that they actually are part of the necessary cogs that make this vehicle possible? And the key there is first you yourself decide what's in it for them, and if the payoff is monetary, and you want to build a community that is like 100% focused on monetary gain, then just talk about that. Like this, I've been through a couple of communities here on Web3. Just stop by to have a look. And there's one that I really didn't like at all. But the guy's doing a great job in building his vision, and he has got people there who are driven by money. They have no other drive in life but money. But he's a narcissist. Most of his lieutenants are sycophants. The environment that the guy's building is just toxic as heck. say terrible things about people who leave their community. Anybody who differs with them in any way, they're really horrible. And that helps you to find what you don't want, which is just as important. So if you want to create an inner foundation, you've got to resonate on two levels with people when you're building your vision. The number one is what they hate, the same things that you hate. It's like, so just about everybody in our ecosystem hates narcissism. They hate rudeness. They don't like that bro culture or hoe culture. So we know that we're not interested in things that are not wholesome, that are not safe for our kids. Leona Bud again tonight on his stream was talking about the blue ocean. Our blue ocean is wholesomeness. Our target market is everybody who is in Web3, everybody who's a gamer. So it's massive. Our target market is huge. But who in that big target market do we really want initially? This is going to be in every community that you build. There's going to be the visible and the invisible. The invisible people are those who just want to play the game or trade or whatever. They don't really connect on a personal level. Their lives are too busy. They've got other focuses. So they're just going to come in for the fun of the game or just to trade the NFTs, to degenerate. But the visible, the people who are commenting and chatting and jumping on stage and investing time, energy, money, those things, those people need to find something to resonate with, something that says, well, this is me. I own this thought already, So the ownership is more than just owning things in the vision. It's the ownership of an ideology. Countries have borders, and that border represents an ideology. America and Canada, you think, okay, well, that's the same. It's all America. They all speak with similar accents. They both got some form of dollar. You'd think they're the same, but that border over there represents an ideology. It's like the Irish nation, the Scottish nation, British nation. There's borders there, and those borders represent different ideologies. And in your mind, you've got borders. And you will go to war to protect the ideology within those borders. If someone threatens that ideology, you don't want to have anything to do with them. You don't consider them an ally. And when you're selling vision, you've got to find, okay, if I'm going to be an ally with someone, do we share the same ideology? Do we hate the same things, and do we love the same things? Do we hate the same things, and do we love the same things? So when you're on the belief side of things, when you're leading on the belief side of things and the faith side of things, you have to identify first for yourself, like, what is it that we as a community hate? What is it that we as a vision hate? When I first showed Web3 to Rob, it was easy. Rob hates Web3. That was when he saw what was going on. He didn't hate the tools, but he hated the culture. So we realized we've got to build our own culture within Web3, and we have to express quite vehemently within that culture, hey, if we had to write a letter to Web3, it would be, dear Web3, this is what we hate. If you hate what we hate, come and help us create the alternative. And then more and more, because you don't always know what you love. It's much easier to know what you hate before you know what you love. And that the things we hate tie us together a lot closer than the things we love. I know it sounds strange, especially since, like, I'm a proponent of a religion that focuses on love. But even as a Christian who loves, My love works hard to keep people safe from the things I hate. Like, what are we protecting people from? Like, what is it that our vision is changing about this world? How do you determine your assignment until you have determined what your assignment comes to solve? And belief is about what we're fighting together, what we're fighting to overcome, because we love each other enough to not only protect one another and rescue one another, but also to create an environment where we can draw more people into the safety of our ideological borders. So, when we joke and we say we're building the cult of awesomeness, it's, cult is just a short word for culture. It's like a very focused culture. And we're throwing heart and soul into letting people know that they are safe from the things they hate in our culture. And that is the starting point of building the faith side of it. It's you're safe from the things you hate in our culture. And then you share the vision. And people will then start to pick up parts of the vision where they feel they fit. They'll say, wow, I really love that about this vision. Most of them won't know that it's keeping them safe from things that they hate. But eventually they'll find that, when you're in battle long enough, you'll start to try and understand what you're fighting against and what you're fighting for. And in the end, the best armies on earth, they fight against tyranny, but they fight for the person next to them. It's all about the person next to you. Not about, you don't fight for nations, really. You get instructed by nations so that you can defend an ideology, but you get trained to keep the person next to you safe. And that is really the belief side of certainly OSP and the Citadel, is we are consistently exciting you about where we're going, what we're doing. We're consistently letting you know what we're up to. But we are also consistently speaking about the things that we don't like. We're consistently speaking about what we'd like to change, because that builds something within you that lets you wake up in the morning, whether or not there is pain in your heart, pain in your body. Like, I'm exceptionally unwell at the moment, but I love our community and our vision and what we do every day enough to be able to sit here, talk, to stick to the discipline. And when I can't get up, like just now, I was really struggling to get up, and then I pulled strength from what I hate. I hate it when leaders step back. I hate it when leaders are weak. I don't want to follow weak people. I like following strong people. So I think it was Rob's first or second slide where it spoke about we show how by action. Hey, Rob? I think so. I think it was that one of the first one. It was the, you lead by example. Well, there's not a strategy, high level. Yeah, it was one of these slides. And it's a core belief for me, is how do I expect you to get up when you're tired? How do I expect you to show up every night if I'm not going to show up? It's my job. Yeah, Rob, you wanted to say?
Yeah, no, I was saying, it's this one here. It's where it's saying it's not a title, it's an action. You embody its value.
100%. Yeah, you must embody the value, because, the difference between a CEO and a vision lead is a CEO makes sure that everything is happening. That's a very powerful leadership position. But a vision lead has to show up. Like, there's nothing background about anything that I do. My literal job is to show up. I mean, I don't have any other, I've got a lot of other things, but the greatest of all my responsibilities, I have to show up. Because how do I expect you to show up if I don't? That's hypocritical, right? It's there's this part where Jesus is rebuking the Pharisees, and he says to them, you weigh people down with responsibilities and expectations that you yourself cannot carry. And of all the great leaders I've followed, the biggest principle that I've learned is show up. If you want to lead something, show up. A while back, I had severe burnout, and I was just unable. There was nothing in me to be able to even get up, let alone show up. And I was so grateful that we had we have such a strong community that they were able to show up on my behalf. Because that showing up thing. Listen, the comments. People who comment, you show up every day and you comment, you are leading this vision. You're part of that founder funnel, every day, 7 days a week, I can call Rob, Jason, Leonard, there's not one day or a single hour where we cannot call each other. And we're not always available, but the availability is not because of a lack of focus. Sometimes people are in meetings, but there's not an hour where you cannot reach out to someone. And even if they're in a meeting, they're going to try and respond to you via text or something like that. Because the key to building a vision, you want to build a vision, you have to be able to show up. You've got to be able to be there. You've got to be present. And the ownership that you all feel is because we trust you enough to depend on you, because you are showing up. You think no one's going to miss me. I promise you, everybody who's commenting, jumping on stage, wherever you are, we feel it. So like if Midnight Cats Lady doesn't rock up, then we feel it. If B doesn't rock up, we just cancel the vision. If Rafiki doesn't show up, then we send him a strongly worded message. Makes Only Beats doesn't show up, we just have to just give up. Very good. There's a book called Rocket Fuel. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to start with Jax, and then go to Kev, and then end with Jason. Besides the stuff that I've shared, Jack, what is it that has caused you to jump in and show up on specifically the OSP gaming vision? So we know you hear from God and stuff for the NGO side of thing, but for the OSP vision, what is it that has got you excited and has got you showing up?
Yeah, thanks, Monk. I think that's a good question. I think for me, I was always intrigued by the whole vision and the whole direction of everything. And obviously, we've journeyed for a while, but I think there has been a shift recently in terms of what my involvement should be. And yeah, there's probably a deeper element to that, but I think the capture of the vision changed when just that thing of how the opportunity of bringing people out of poverty in such a direct way that hasn't been done before. And so I guess it's that uniqueness of the project and the opportunity that's there that captured me first and foremost. And then and part of that was also seeing a kind of I think you mentioned, seeing how you fit in with that. And I think I saw how maybe I could come in at that property digital management side of things, which resonated with me. So there's probably a few things, probably a few reasons why my involvement has increased. But I think the culture is also just great. I mean, I've been involved in many organizations, both in the non-profit sector and also in the profit sector, I guess. And those have been at different scales. And I think what Rob went through in terms of how those the sizes of, or the size of the organization as it grows, your leadership role within it shifts and changes and morphs into different things, and you have to take on as a leader different roles as it changes and grows, is really key, because that you're still involved in shaping the culture, but the output is now not you. The output is now the ones working on the ground. So you're then able to measure the culture by the output of those working on the ground, because they're the ones that are now going to be front facing for the organization. So when I think about our organization, our culture is love, because we have our front facing vision is working with those that are most vulnerable. So if our culture isn't love, then the output isn't love. And that's exactly what the most vulnerable need, the ones that we're working with. So I think that in itself ties in with the OSP mantra and ethos. So yeah, hopefully that answers it. But I'd say that sums it up.
That's great. So you resonate with the culture in a big way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jack's on that growth thing as well. Like one of the things, I'm sure Leonard has heard me say this, is one thing that I do in the leadership realm is my employees don't work for me. I work for them. Because I'm there to enable, I'm there to ensure they have the tools, the resources, the training. And it's a very different shift, because often when people start snorting too much power, they get in this, they the leader, the people work for them. But in practicalness, if you're going to do it properly, it's the other way around. You work for the community. You're there to help them do what they need to do. You just got to hold the vision, keep to the mission, drive the ship, basically.
Yeah, 100%. And our part of our leadership program is that when you reach the end of that program, your title becomes servant steward. And it absolutely encompasses that as someone's nature. So if we've taken someone through a leadership program and they don't encompass that as their foundation, then we've done something wrong. And so, and for me personally, yeah, I absolutely see me, and I think Kat and Christy would be the same, is that we're here to serve the community as best as we can. That's all we can do, and try and just do the best that we can with what we have.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Great. So, General Kev, so what is it that you and Buddykins have jumped in, boots and all, man. I mean, we see Buddykins posting daily, and you're showing up daily. So what is it that really resonated, to spark off that daily show up? You're present. What is it that produced that within you?
Okay, guys. Good evening, everyone. And my first port of call for being any form of leader is to wish anybody that's suffering well wishes. So, Uncle Funk, I hope you get well soon. Because the first rule of thumb is to look after your community, and that includes anybody from the top to the bottom. So, Uncle Funk, I do understand that you're not feeling well today, and like we say, well done for turning up. That shows true grit. That shows true leadership qualities. You know, when people are feeling under the weather, they quite often just switch off and go to bed, you know. But this is exactly why we are sat here doing what we're doing today. You asked that question, Uncle Funk, you know, why are we here? We've come from the Web3 space into this realm of what we see as a Web3 gaming space that offers a metaverse experience. Something that we were looking at nearly 5 years ago now. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. Your Web3 gamers, or should I say I would perceive you guys to be professional gamers. And I'm going to say it as it is. You've got what it takes over and above what most Web3 developers have got. So big kudos to you guys. Now, I'm going to explain what I mean by that. That's why we're here. You're a golden light within the Web3 ecosystem, and I don't know whether you realize that or not. You really are a golden light, each and every one of you. And B, I know B's not on stage with us, but one day she will be where we can chat about this together. But B knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because this presentation, Rob, thank you so much for giving this presentation. It's concise, it's to the point, it's something that everybody needs to understand, okay? Because what we're looking at is we're in the Web3 space is in a project crisis, as far as I'm concerned, in every level. And do you know what that comes down to? Leadership. People cannot define what leadership really is. And B will confirm this for you guys. We have been pulling our hair out because of this crisis, because people don't know how to lead. And you've got it right, guys. You've got it right. What you've done in this presentation is what we've been screaming from the rooftops for years. So what you're doing here is something that the Web3 space can learn from. That's why we're here. That's why we're joining you guys every day. We're writing articles. We're publishing whatever we can to share this vision, because that is what we see. We're visionaries. Exactly what this presentation's about. We're visionaries. We know what we want. We know what we want. We knew what we wanted 5 years ago, but we've spent the last 5 years struggling. We've got that inherent ability to lead. Let me just make one thing clear, guys. I never wanted to be a leader. I became a leader. And that's something very important. You can't want to be a leader if you haven't got what it takes. I just became a leader, and I'll tell you how that happened, guys. 24,000 irate members in a Discord server is how I became a leader, because there was carnage, absolute carnage, because of a failed project. And those leaders at the top, the developers, the project, the founders, etc., did not know the values that you guys have shared with each and every one of us tonight. They did not have those qualities. 24,000 members did not have the benefit of your wisdom. And that was the problem. So one man, General Kev, attempted, and in all due respect, pretty much succeeded to calm 24,000 members. guys, it was crazy. I did not want to do it, but I was the only one with half a brain cell to say, if anything is going to make this happen, you have to do A, B, C. And if you can't get people to help you in that vision, you're screwed. Is that project still semi-alive today? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And B will vouch for me. If we didn't do what we did back then, that would be about 4 years ago, it would have been well dead and buried by now. I did not want to become a leader, but then I didn't understand what a true leader really is. You're right, guys. It's not a title at all. It's an action. Are you willing to stand up and give answers when everybody believes there isn't an answer? Are you willing to look for answers, to research? And when things are looking so bloody grim, are you willing to try and cheer people up and give them faith and hope? That's what true leadership is really about. This presentation, guys, is golden tonight. I will be recording this and using it for improving and, you know, onboarding people, OSP and the Citadel in the future. So like I said, guys, respect members, show compassion. Leadership, before we were introduced to OSP and the Citadel, all I could see that people, and this was the frustration in my head, all the leadership qualities that I could see that people believed to be leadership was, I can tell you how to press buttons. I can tell you how to open a wallet. I can tell you how much money to put in that wallet. Guys, that's not what it's about. And that is so damn frustrating. OSP and the Citadel and these guys here and the community, I've got to say it, guys, this is not just about Uncle Funk, Rob, Jason, Leonard, and a whole manner of people that are helping us out here. This is about each and every community member and viewer of this. You're all part of this. That's why we're here. What more can I say, guys? Yeah. Founder Funnel. I watched a video earlier on because I take note of something. Can I come back to Jason and what he said about watching Rob and Uncle Funk as people to look up to? You know, when you're a child, you look up to your parents, and you know, your parents don't have to tell you what to do. The child can learn from you. You lead by example. That's exactly what I see from Funk and Jason and Rob. So when people look up and they learn things from you, it empowers you. So Uncle Funk, you said, you know, what drives you to being here and doing you? Exactly that. We've never had that. If you've got a project with developers and CEOs that you never see and you have problems communicating with them, we're in a project now that we haven't been able to communicate with our CEO for 4 months. That's not a project, guys. But when you're invested in it, you've got to keep in contact. You've got to try. Okay. Can you imagine how frustrating that is? To my knowledge, we've got a founder, a CEO, a COO, and a whole number of people that are deeply involved in creating this beautiful metaverse that we've got that show up every day. We see their names, even if it's just for 5 or 6 comments in Discord or on WhatsApp. That's what we want. That's what any community wants. If I was to vote, will any of these projects succeed? OSP and Citadel would be my number 1. And I'm not just blowing smoke, guys. I go on deep research. Deep research. I've been involved with this for about 7 or 8 months now. I've had to, because of all the failures that I've seen in the past, because of the 24,000 members that look up to me as a true leader, if you like. You know, they put trust and faith in you. but I want them to learn how I do it. And you guys, when I can look up to you guys and see that you're doing the right thing, you empower me to pass that empowerment onto those 24,000 members. That's pure beauty, guys. Uncle Funk, you're bringing golden light to the Web3 space. Over to you, sir.
Appreciate you, man. Rob, there's something strange in the neighborhood there. Share slides, leadership and vision, people with access, Robert Murray, anyone with the link. It's been on there for the past 2 days. Thank you. That was awesome.
No,
Kev.
just drop the link in the group there if anyone wants
Oh,
the
nice,
slides.
nice. Very touching words also from Buddy in the chat. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I know Rob is also consistent as heck. You know, I don't think Jason's going anywhere. I reckon Blush will be around for a while.
This is
we
the
Till death to us part.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is it for me.
Mhm.
I don't want to be doing anything else.
Yeah,
Like,
but that actually brings me to the Jason question. There's you know, I know that you were where I've been, you know, where you feel so defeated, but you still got that something inside of you, you know. You know, but you're just kind of looking around with that something inside of you. It's like, how the hell? See, you know, starting from scratch is never quite starting from scratch. Sorry, Rob, you're typey. So starting from scratch, never quite starting from scratch the way we perceive it to be. It's not like the same as starting from zero, because you've already got all the wisdom, the experience. You already know what you hate, and you know what, and you know more or less what you're starting to love. But I'm like, you know, the first conversation that we had, you certainly knew more about what you hated than, you know, what you were looking for. So, you know, like coming into this vision, I mean, you throw heart and soul into this every single day. You've made it yours. You know, you didn't try and start from scratch by yourself. You've come in as part of the CE Bros and brought an entire community with you. Like, what, you know, what was it that inspired that level of trust, you know, in this team, in this community, in Rob and I? What was, you know, what was it that produced that passion and that drive? And more importantly than that question is, what is it that keeps you here? I mean, you're still here.
Lot to unpack. Actually, 1 second. Let me just. Oh, God, don't want the headphones getting blocked out there. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot to unpack there. So, number one, it was coming across people with that energy, that desire to genuinely build something special. You know, like, a lot of people want to build something, but like, not enough people want to build off the back of a vision. You know, it's like, you can want to build a game, fantastic, but when you're building something as part of a much bigger vision, it has a purpose behind it. There's a different energy there's a different energy when something, like, you know that something can have genuine impact in an area that you're passionate about. And, you know, that's what you were just emanating on that Twitter space when I first met you. And you had an anger that was a well-placed anger. A lot of people get angry at things, but they don't apply that anger in any meaningful way. Like, you're angry and you're doing something about it. And there's a huge difference between just being angry and actually doing something about that which makes you angry. And yeah, like it's contagious. That passion, that willingness to talk, to explore options, and over time end up with what we've got, that just meant the world to me. Because for me, there's many reasons that I've got the never say die kind of mentality, and that is, I've never had anything in my life, and I always wanted to break out of those cycles. I found that possibility in Web3, in communities, starting from communities. Like, I didn't start at the top. I worked my way from simply knowing enough about a project, and General Kev can resonate really well with this. All I was doing was participating, helping, testing, doing things, being incredibly active in a community to keep things and momentum moving forward at all times, to the point where well, not out of nowhere, it was through work, I ended up as CMO of the first one, like the first project. And none of that would have been possible without the community. Because the community were what made that project possible. And that same community, like the core of that same community, our Rafikis, our Brodins, Norwegos, that list goes on, Twisted, Sheka, Midnight Cats Lady, all of these people that were a part of making that possible were a part of making the next phase possible. They were the original backers of Myth. And like, if someone has poured that amount of belief into me, into doing something different, special, but with principles, good ethics applied, then you have borderline, you have an obligation to deliver. You have an obligation to find a way. And I've always dreamt of building quite literally an empire when it comes to gaming and entertainment, because gaming, comics, graphic novels, they were my escape when I was a kid. And I always wanted to be able to be a part of telling a story that was worth telling, that could help people, that they could escape to, that they could find like refuge in. And that's something that we have here. And that's why, like, I'm very focused on the IP side, because I know what it can lead to. I know where it can go. It's a story that is so worth telling. All of them are. And yeah, it was that belief put in me means you have an obligation to find a way. And I was told to literally sit down, meditate, focus. Who do I need to be surrounded by? Versus who had I been surrounded by when things were going wrong or just weren't working out. And that first moment, it clicked, and I'm like, these are the people. These are the people that I can be a part of, bringing all of this to light. It doesn't have to be the exact same that what I was doing, but it's more beautiful. Like, there's something more to it. There's more purpose. It's not just my purpose anymore. Like, I get to be a part of a purpose that I can fully get behind and believe in and drive forward. So yeah, it's doing the right thing, first and foremost, doing right by the people that have made every step of my journey in Web3 possible. Like, they didn't give up on me. I can't give up on them. And that's been energizing. That's what's kept the lights on. Inside the head, even through the worst moments, there's always been, those people have always shown up. Odin has always showed up. Norwego's always showed up. Rafiki's always been there. Alicia, I've seen her grow. I've seen her grow as a person. I've seen her grow as an artist. So many people, they've always shown up, and they were always there to support it, even when they didn't know how to support it or how to help, but they were always there. So what we have now is something unfathomably bigger than what I had originally envisioned. And that's all thanks to a very, very strong, very driven leadership team, a team where if someone falls, the rest pick them up, carry on. And yeah, it's the inevitability of this ecosystem and everything that we're bringing to light is there. Like, if we've been producing and managing to succeed, with what we have, the next steps are going to be so much fun. It is genuinely going to be beautiful. With everything falling into place. Kind of went on a bit of a tangent there, but hope I got the message across. I do apologize.
Very good. Yeah, very, very good. The core premise there, which I like a lot, was people invested in you and you're not going to let them down. That attitude over there it's a, let me see. There are many things that can drive you. And I think, everybody's listening to this on whichever platforms. Let me just check if there's been any comments. I know there's, hello, Vanessa. Hey, Lax. Good to see you, man. It's on X.
Do you guys think, though, do you consider this? You get to that point in growth where giving up, it just is not an option anymore.
Giving up was never an option from day one.
You've got to let things drive you. You've got to let anger drive you. You've got to let despair drive you. You've got to let joy drive you. You've got to let gratitude drive you. You've got to get loyalty drive you. You have to consider every emotion that you have as a driver.
Use them for what they are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like feelings. We teach this a lot. Your emotions are always real, but they're not always true. But they're always real, so let them drive you. So even if the thing is not real, if you feel offended, but there wasn't really offense intended, or you took something wrong, it still produced something within you. So let it drive you. If it's like in Jason's case over there, he said, "Just don't let people down." That's a sense of responsibility. That's a sense of loyalty. When it comes to loyalty, my loyalty is not absolute. I don't give loyalty to narcissists, extractors, rude people. I don't do that. So you can have your boundaries, because remember, the borders of a country separate ideologies. So in your mind, you've got to have your ideologies, and you must be able to say, well, I'm not giving loyalty to someone who pretended to be an ally. And this is quite an important lesson for everyone. You've got people who may have invested into your life or into your projects or whatever it is, and they made, kind of a covenant with you. But part of the covenant, I often tell this thing, it actually happened twice, but, I often tell this story about how I was working for a company and one of their directors walked into my office screaming and shouting. And he used to do it often. And at one point I told the guy, listen, you need to get out of my office, because men, you can't shout at me and think I'm not going to want to get physically violent. And he's like, well, do you know who I am? I'm a director. Blah, 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 blah. And then I said, listen, this isn't in my contract. I ended up in front of HR and I sat there and I said, let's go through my contract, see if anywhere in the contract there's anything about people screaming and shouting at me. And they said, well, if people are people. I said, no, if we put it in the contract, you pay me some extra, then I'll accept it as part of my job. I'll let people scream and shout at me. But this wasn't part of the deal. It wasn't part of the... So I used to tell my wife, what happens where most marriages fall apart is the assumption that you can't get out of it now, that you can now treat that person like trash, because you're counting on their loyalty to a contract. But I used to tell my wife, the contract with you, there was nothing in there about someone talking to me with this tone of voice. There was nothing in there, and I encourage people in their marriages to say, listen, there's in every relationship, business relationships, etc., the part of the deal is not to be where people can be rude to you, where people can say terrible things, or they can climb on social media and dishonor you. Many times with investors or people who give to the NGO, they would phone and demand something, and I say, listen, that's not part of the agreement. If you can ask nicely, but and I often would tell people, you're not allowed to give us money anymore, and you're not allowed to contact me anymore either. And then they'd be so confused. You can't tell me where I can and can't put my money. What do you mean I'm not allowed to? So you can give to any other NGO out there, but as far as I'm concerned, this is a control thing for you. You don't really care about who it's helping. You care about how it's making you feel. So I'd rather have nothing from you. And then they say, yeah, but it's going to affect other people's jobs and all that kind of thing. It affects what it affects. I don't give my loyalty to rude people, to narcissists, and I don't put my soul on the altar. And that's quite an important principle that we have in the OSP ecosystem. Jason has seen firsthand how, some people in a different place just wouldn't stop, they just dishonored him. And in our way of doing things, it's just unacceptable. We don't allow that. We won't do business with you. We won't have anything to do with you if you lay into people. And it's so important in our vision that we're building, and such a key thing of our culture. I don't know if Rob, the one thing that you shared about culture somewhere there, to the chief evangelist, vision, mission, values, it was there. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, my bad. It says be the chief evangelist, your vision, mission, values. And we want to encourage all of you in our vision. You can boldly go out there and say us, our, you can on your social media posts, at OSP, our values are this and that, because they are our. It's yours, it's ours. We don't tolerate narcissism. We don't tolerate rudeness and bullying and picking on people and FUD. Don't tolerate it at all. I don't know if you saw how I swiftly dealt with one or two people who started FUDding when we came into the Citadel Discord. We don't tolerate it. Not at all. Why? Because it's not our culture. It's not our culture at all. Our culture is respectful, it's honorable, it's kind, it's wholesome. We give a damn. I don't have a problem with virtue signaling. People want to virtue signal, but then they need to be their higher self when they're with us. So if you're bragging about how much you give or who you know or what you've done, that's fine. But don't use it to look down on people. But anyway, all right. So there we go. We've been live for 2 hours. And I think Rob did a spectacular job. Thank you, Rob. I'm going to just ask Jax before we go. So I know Jack in real life. He's a very strategic thinker, and he's busy with Gunther and Rob. They're working on something called Citamax, which is going to be a very important part, or not going to, is a very important part of what we're building. And Citamax is how we're going to be able to, it's the digital asset management company that is going to really help people prosper in the Citadel ecosystem. So it was incredible, Jackson, and this is leading to the question. We were sitting around the table here at my place. We were having a kind of a dinner thing, and Jack just expressed his concern that people coming into Citadel getting so many things, getting courage and NFTs and all those kind of things, wouldn't know how to handle all these things. And he expressed this concern that people wouldn't be able to really enjoy the prosperity that's available. So he suggested that we come up with this digital asset management strategy. And so Jack, my question is, in coming up with that idea, there must have been something about this vision that gave you like a reality in your soul to say magic internet money, magic internet property has to get the same amount of professionality and attention that it would do if it was a real world asset. Like what happened in your heart to go in that direction for people?
Man, I'm going to try and articulate it the best I can. Yeah, I just think like the penny just dropped in terms of what the Citadel represented. And, we've obviously been talking about it for some time, but yeah, I think the reality of it just hit in terms of the real world impact of what it can achieve. And at that time, I had been helping my brother to assist with some of his, he's invested now in everything. And he's completely Web3 illiterate, as I was not too long ago. And I just saw his kind of me helping him through that process, I guess, unlocked something which said, look, if we're going to fully maximize this as a concept, as in the metaverse being the Citadel, then we need maximum amount of usage and interaction. So the higher the interaction, the greater for the whole community. So my part of my background is real estate. So my thinking was, well, if we assist people to maximize their own return on what they have and what they digitally own by supporting them fully and journeying with them, then that will benefit the community as a whole. So that was really the drive behind it. And so the hope is that in itself would become a reality within Citadel.
Yeah, I think we must definitely have like a once a week vision share on the Citadel itself, the metaverse, and have Jacques host that one.
I'll do my best.
Wear a vest, pass the tests. But okay, Rob, I don't know if you got any final thoughts before we rug this thing.
I mean, no, not on my side. I mean, like with anything in the leadership and the strategy, it's it's a skill you learn by doing, So like what I mentioned earlier is it's the worst thing to do is nothing, right? So it's better to do something, and if you get half of it wrong, at least you got half of it right, rather than doing nothing and getting 100% of it wrong because you didn't do anything, And yeah, I mean, leadership comes with experience, it comes with doing, it comes with action, it comes with learning, Yeah, that's about it.
Very good.
Let me rug the Rug the slides.
Do you even rug, bro? So, do you know that that everybody on all the other platforms we're going to say goodbye to you? Because sick or not, tonight we are making Buddy's song. We are committed. We are making Buddy's song. So goodbye to all the people on X and on you know, the YouTubes and all the Facebooks and all that kind of thing. We love you dearly, but we can't play music on your platforms because we get muted because it's a bunch of Bantapudu. So here we go. Love you. Bye.